What is it about resistance? It's empowering. It's ensuring that your voice will be heard, that your opinions will matter. It's finding common ground with people who otherwise you may have never met. It's taking a broken path, and through pure determination, strength, and unity, sealing the cracks. Resistance can stem from anything, from a gorgeous artwork to a tragic backstory. This morning you will listen to a history of disaster, tragedy, and sorrow, and you'll learn just how powerful resistance can truly be. While you're listening, think of a time resistance played a huge role in your life. Why was resistance needed in this situation? And how did your method of resistance affect the overall outcome?
The elements that give us life and pleasure can also harm us. Water is life, but in a flood, water is death. Earth can ground us, but earth can also sink or landslide and swallow lives. Air gives us breath, but air blown in hurricane winds removes roofs. Fire brings light and warmth, but fire is also a destroyer. My mother and father taught me to resist. They were labor union and civil rights activists in New Orleans back in the day. When I was a child, my parents ran us through fire drills at home. What we should do, how we should escape in case of a fire at our house. Years later, I learned that was because they were receiving bomb threats from white people who were opposed to the work that they were doing. My parents wanted their children to be safe, but they wanted justice more. We light this chalice for all those in whom the passion for justice burns.
We utter our cry that peace may prevail, that earth will survive, and faith must not fail. We pray with our hearts for the world in our care, for people whose lives are filled with despair. Whatever the ill or pressure we face, God hearten and heal with insight and grace. Help to lighten the load, everyone must just reach out with kindness, reap the garden you've sown. Cry when in sorrow, let the pain be released, seeking hope for tomorrow, for the world to find peace. Keep the spirit alive, there's so much you can give. Make the world a better place by how you love and live.
As a community of faith with a rich history and a promising future yet known, may this living water be a token of both thanksgiving and hope. We pour this in honor of our beloved ancestors, those who stand within the cloud of witnesses and guide us along the journey of life. We pour this water in honor of this land, that which has sustained us through our journeys. May we gently walk upon this holy land, knowing that we travel within a delicate web of being. And we pour this water in honor of the spirit of resistance and resilience. As we utter our cries, may our souls be kindled with the flames of justice, guiding us towards the promised land. Move in us, O Spirit of life, that we might know that we can make the world a better place by how we love and live.
We cry from the fright in the news every day of terrorists' delight in their murderous ways, forces of chaos, extinction of life, all energy wasted on killing and strife. We lift up our hearts for children unborn. Give wisdom, O God, that we may hand on, replenished and nurtured, this good planet Earth, preserving the future and wonder of birth. Cry when in sorrow, let the pain be
Writer Gloria Anzaldúa says, "Though we tremble before uncertain futures, may we meet illness, death, and adversity with strength. May we dance in the face of our fears." There isn't much more that I could say to summarize how I think about resistance. And there isn't much more to say about what I know about resistance from the city of New Orleans. Although it may seem as if we have gotten over a few big hurdles, the reality is that New Orleans will not be here forever. Inevitably, marches will disappear. Levees will probably break again. People will be forced out of their homes once more, and possibly for good. And there are some in the city who are doing their best to ensure their futures by enclosing their wealth at the expense and poverty of others. They think they will get out alive. But I know it will cost them more than they could ever imagine. We will need to be praying for them and loving them through their own transition. But for me and mine, we have a wealth and abundance of wisdom accumulated from the earth and our ancestors. The wisdom from beings like the earthworm. And this wisdom is how we will survive. I have learned how to resist from 3 places in New Orleans. As a dancer, I grew up in New Orleans at the rec centers and at New Orleans Center for Creative Arts and Jesuit High School, dancing all through my days. My senior year of high school, I was dancing 6 days a week for a minimum of 4 hours a day. As a dancer, as you progress in your technique, your teachers expect you to trust your body. It doesn't come easy because we're indoctrinated into a society that teaches us to separate us from the wisdom that our body holds. But that is what we are called to do. We are called to know the difference between pain and uncomfort, between harm and challenge, between mastery and cheating our way to the end of a phrase. It is my job as a dancer to know when it is time to rest. Trusting my body is resistance, and I am grateful for the lessons, for the dance lessons and the life lessons I've received in those New Orleans dance studios. This is the earthworm who sees without eyes. The second place I learned to resist was the second line. This is the tradition that usually occurs at the end of a funeral of someone with clout in the community. The first line is the family of the deceased. The second line are the friends and community. Led by a brass band, people fill the streets with umbrellas, white napkins, and fancy footwork. And what I learned in those streets and in those moments was that it was not only okay to feel joy in the midst of sorrow, that it was active resistance to honor the reality of our mortality, to honor our ancestors, and to honor transitions. This is not what they would have us believe. They would want us to be stuck in sadness, consuming things that we've hoped would make us better outside of ourselves and our community. They would want us to seek all of the external validation possible. Alas, we resist. We find meaning in our movements and our noises and in our communities. We find resistance in our joy. This is the earthworm, turning plant matter into nutritious soil. The third place where I was taught about resistance was the water. My dad, a man born and raised in New Orleans, was a swimmer. I was fortunate enough to learn from him many techniques, and at summer camp, we spent hours in the pool each day, playing games and soaking up all of the sun and chlorine. I'm grateful for those opportunities and memories because it taught me not to be afraid of the water. In fact, we are held in all of it by water. In every significant moment of life, water has been present, and I have been fortunate enough to have been baptized over and over in pools, in bayous, and rain and lakes. I was taught resistance by the water because I've never felt alone. and always felt held. I learned to interact with the water like I learned to interact with God, asking questions of it, praising it, arguing with it, learning from it and about it. Resistance looks like knowing where to place one's anger, and where the anger does not belong is in the water. Resistance looks like acknowledging all of the human failures that went into what happened on August 29, 2005. The effects of the hurricane were not the water's fault. The death of thousands in my community was not the fault of the water. I learned not to be angry at the water, but angry at systems, because the water was still there. After all that was said and done, still cleansing, still showering, still shifting. The water taught me that I am held in community and deserve to be transformed over and over again. This is the earthworm making room for the water.
We resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end. We resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end. We resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end. We resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end. We resist. Pray for your enemies. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. We resist. Pray for your enemies. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. We resist. Pray for your enemies. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. Pray for your enemies. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. Pray for your enemies. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. We're in this
It is a blessing to be carried through this struggle with the wisdom of those before us, the wisdom existing in our bodies and the wisdom present in the water. It is critical that we hold these gems close to our heart. May we trust our bodies, experience joy as resistance, and allow ourselves to be held by the water. Ashe and amen.